Joe Zikas, YoChicago, sitting at Printer's Corner
Kitchen.
Condos in the South Loop. Pardon me?
Sitting in the kitchen, right?
Sitting in the kitchen and trying to tell, we don't have a turkey around, but let's talk some turkey about the market.
Okay, what would you like to know?
Why is everybody so skittish and nervous about out there? Why is everybody waiting around when prices probably are not going to fall much for new construction, are they?
You know, I think, this is opinion, but I think the real reason people are waiting around is because what they read and hear in the press. They think that things may be worse than they are, and they look at headlines instead of reading the details. A lot of times the details talk about how areas around specifically Chicago, Evanston, and that type of thing are not nearly as badly impacted as some of the other things like the West Coast and the East Coast and Florida.
It's not Las Vegas, it's not Miami.
Right, it's not where or home prices, quadrupled in value in 6 months. I think people just need to read a little bit below the headlines and read everything about it to see what's happening in their local area. Our price is going to go down.
Even in Chicago, there are 1,000 different markets here, aren't there?
Right, there's sub-markets. So find out what's going on in your sub-market. The other thing is, it's a great time to get the deals that are out there. People can only drop their prices so much. Developers can only drop their prices so much. They've done what they can to try to help support the market that's out there. It's a great time to get good deals. If you need to move, it's a perfect time because the rates are great. If you don't need to move and you're looking for an investment, if you have a little bit of cash, it's a great time to get into the market because, everybody's trying to time things perfectly and hit the very bottom. It's just like the stock market. As long as you get close to the top or close to the bottom when you buy or sell, that's about the best you can ask for. Nobody's going to know exactly when we're at the very bottom or the very top. So I think, as long as you're aware of the fact that we are where we are and it's time for you to invest, I think you're at a great time to do that. To try to time it exactly to the minute, unless you've got a crystal ball, and if you do, please call me. You're not going to hit the perfect timing to get that last penny out of it.
So some people say that the best time to buy a new construction is either pre-construction or when the developer is getting down to the last percentage of units. You're 75% sold here.
Mm-hmm.
So you would fall into that second category that basically now people have a proven commodity, they know exactly what they're buying, and you're making some deals right now. You're offering free parking on a few units.
Right, for the next 3 deals that come through, we're going to give free parking. That's a $36,000 value, which we think is substantial. With the quality of our home, I think you're right. The people feel that the best time to buy is the latter portion or the earlier portion, and I think it depends on your basically your own risk palette. If you have a high or the ability to take on a lot of risk and you want to buy early, great, go ahead and do that. I think it makes a ton of sense. And if you investigate the developer and you're comfortable that there's somebody who hasn't had the kind of problems that some have, I think it's great. If you don't have that kind of risk tolerance, it's great to see, walk through, feel, be able to do all of your due diligence while you're in the unit, go ahead and close on it and move in right away. So either way, I think a lot of it is risk tolerance that people have to look at themselves and say, hey, am I somebody who wants to buy 2 years before it's built, or should I just wait and go buy something that's finished?
If you had a friend who asked you for advice on that subject, what would you tell them?
I actually, I have had that because I bought, one of the reasons I work for this developer is I bought from him 6 years ago in the exact scenario you're talking about. I bought 2 years before they developed. I waited for him to build it. I moved in, and I talked to him, and then I became the board president and talked to him for a few years, and decided to come over and work for him. I have had friends that ask now, especially, what should I do?
You may be the first condo board president in history who's on speaking terms with a developer.
I think that's, I think you're right. I said that to somebody in Florida, they almost passed out. So.
I mean, that's usually not how. Was he buying you off, or?
No. I'm somebody that just kind of does things. I feel like there's a right and a wrong way to do things, and there's really not a lot of gray when you need to make a decision about what you should do in a building of this type. And he's the same way. It's, hey, if it's the right thing to do, we do it. So I was very comfortable with that. And with that kind of information to go back to your board and say, look, they're going to pick up things that most developers won't because it's the right thing to do, or they've given us the reason they're not going to do this, and it makes a ton of sense. It's right. That's why I stayed in touch with him. I thought he was a great businessman, and so was the other partner. They both worked very well with us. So.
Okay, thank you, Chad.
You're welcome.